All right. I am Bridget, and I own the Bookstagram and TikTok accounts Dark Fairy Tales. I have over 171,000 followers on Instagram and over 14,000 followers on TikTok. I also own the Bookstagram tour company, part own the Bookstagram tour company, Storygram Tours. I will talk more about Storygram later, just to give you an idea of what it's about and just a little bit more about what we do and stuff like that. So that's going to be coming later in the class. But excuse me, to start, so the class is social media for authors. Sorry, it's early. All right, I'm gonna move these chat bars because they're kind of in my way. No. Okay, I don't know if that's gonna work. Okay. So social media. There are so many different social media accounts, and all of them can be used to use as a marketing tool. And so, but there's not a single author I know that can use every single one of them by themselves. At least it's something that's difficult to manage. Oops, going back. Sorry, I have to move these chats. I might have to stop the share for a second. Why is my... All right, well, it's not going to let me. It's being weird. Okay, sorry. Can everybody hear me? Can you tell me in the chat if you can hear me? Because I just wanted to make sure you can all hear me. Okay, sorry. This is just not being as user-friendly. Like my thing's not, I don't know where my mouse is. There we go. Okay, I was like, I've got to move these chats down because they're like right in the middle. Sorry about that. Okay. Sorry, few technical difficulties. There's my face. Now this will work. Okay. Sorry about that. So how do you decide which social media platform is going to work for you? I have listed a bunch of different ones here that are obviously the most popular ones. And personally, I would say focusing on maybe one or two platforms. Today, we're going to mostly focus on TikTok and Instagram, just because that is what I have the most experience in. But really, you can utilize YouTube, you can utilize Facebook, you can utilize blogs, Pinterest, Snapchat. I don't even have that one listed. There's so many different things that you can use and utilize as an author to build social media platform. And there's so many new ones that have like popped up that you can definitely utilize. And over the years, there's going to be plenty of other new ones. But you need to figure out what's going to work for you personally. So it's not one formula fits all. There's so many different ways to become successful through social media. And like I said, just picking which one fits your personality, fits your book, is how it's a lot of trial and error. I'll talk about that a lot, but it's definitely a lot of trial and error on how you figure out what book or what social media platform works for you. But here are just some tips and tricks really on any social media account that you're going to start. These are some ways that are going to help you be successful to grow an audience. So being consistent and posting regularly. This is different depending on what social media site you are using. So it's going to be different. I'm going to go into like talking about each one of these in more depth. So use all the different tools social media has to offer, understanding the social media site you are using relevant and different hashtags, quality content over quantity, research, engagement with your audience, attaching eye-catching images / videos, and have patience with yourself. So that is basically my class in a nutshell that we're going to talk about today. Okay. So being consistent and posting regularly. How often do you need to post? This is like a very common question. And it really depends. Like for, say, YouTube, once a week is something that is more than consistent enough. For Instagram, I would say 3 to 4 times a week. If you're trying to grow your audience, I mean, really, you could do even once or twice a week, as long as it's consistent each week. Like it's like you don't post like 6 times in a week and then ghost for 2 months, if that makes sense. I mean, obviously, when you're doing a release, you're going to be posting more, and that's okay. But when you don't have a release or news to share, you should still be posting something. Now, it can be anything you want to post about. You can post about your book. You can post about an old book. You can post about other people's books, anything that's writing advice, anything that's relevant to your page, you can post about. Now on TikTok, if you want to grow consistently, you can post more on TikTok. You don't have to. Like for me personally, I'm not actually, I don't have an author account. I have more of a book talk account. But the more you post on TikTok, the more they will show your videos to people on the algorithm. So the more likely you are to be seen. So that's like, so TikTok, I mean, I've seen so many different analytics on how much you should post on TikTok. People say you should post 4 times a day. But honestly, that's a lot. So, and I've never posted that much. I think the most I've ever posted is 2 times in a day. And then I would usually skip the next day because, so honestly, once a day, I think is plenty because that's all I've ever really done. And if you have to miss times, it's totally okay. So those are kind of like the different, I don't know anything Facebook wise. I've never worked in Facebook, so I'm not sure what consistency you should post on there. That's not my expertise. Okay. So one thing that all social media sites love is when you use all of the different things that they have to offer. So for instance, with Instagram, they love it when you use the stories, when you do posts, when you do reels, when you do live shows, when you do et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So whenever they roll out a new, okay, now I just realized I can't see the chat box. Hang on. I'm going to escape after this and bring up the chat box because I don't know if you guys are actually asking me questions. Sorry. And then I'll go back in my groove. Come up. Sorry. Okay, back to where was I? All right. I lost my train of thought. I am sorry. I will get back there. Okay, so using the different ones, like, and with TikTok, they're always constantly like rolling out new things. They have longer videos now. They have lives. They have stories. They have all the different things. And if you can utilize all the different aspects of the socials, not only does it give you a chance to be seen more, but the algorithms tend to like that. They tend to like you using all their different categories. And then also you can see which one of those types of things works the best for you. Because I've noticed for some authors, like on Instagram, let's say, they rarely post, but they post in their stories all the time. Static posts, it's only when they have news. Stories, like it's a continuous thing. Okay, how long for TikTok videos? I will actually talk about more in depth on the TikTok videos a little bit later. So hold on to that question. So that's like just another really good way to figure out which social media site is the best for you. Okay, and using relevant hashtags, like some of the things I like to say about this is don't always use the same hashtags. Use different ones. And there's such a wide variety of hashtags that you can use. And if you can use ones on every different, like on all the different posts, all the, like on TikTok and on Instagram, on Instagram, you cannot use more than 30 hashtags. And I do believe that they're kind of rolling out a new feature where you're going to be able to tag categories, and it, because they're trying to turn into an SEO. Anyway, that's not anything like super relevant, but it could be in the future, because if they are doing that, I've heard that they may not have hashtags anymore, or they may not be as relevant, but they've always been super relevant. But you cannot use more than 30 hashtags on a post. You can put it either in the actual caption of the post, or you can put it in the comments, but either way, don't add more than 30, because it will like flag that post that you have too many hashtags. So that's just like an FYI. I don't think that there's a hashtag limit on TikTok, but TikTok doesn't, like, your captions are much shorter, and you could probably put them in the comments. I actually don't know if they work in the comments or not. They might, but hashtags, there's way less comment section. So I usually only use like 5 to 10 hashtags on my TikTok videos. And like I said, utilize all the different types of hashtags that you can. So like if you're talking about writing, do writer talk, or writers of TikTok, or author talk, or book talk, or I mean, there's really so many different ideas of what you can do for hashtags. All right. Okay. Quality over quantity. This is especially important on Instagram, maybe less so on TikTok. But so what is quality content? So quality content is anything that your specific audience is interested in. That can be vastly different depending on how you brand yourself and your books. It is giving your excuse me, your viewership what they want to see, read, and hear about. So on Instagram, I feel it's super important to have quality images, and to only post, you post way less on Instagram. Like stories, you can post whatever. It doesn't have to necessarily be quality content. But your posts, make sure your posts are more quality content, that you're giving some sort of information to your followers. Now, the reason I say that, like, but it can be fun information too. It doesn't necessarily have to be book related information. It can just be anything that they find valuable. It can be a book recommendation, or it can be information on books that you have coming out. It can be whatever, but just make sure it's a little bit more quality content. And I also have, later on, we're going to kind of talk a little bit about how to make a little bit more eye-catching images and things like that. Sorry, my throat's being weird. Okay, so in TikTok, it's a little bit different. So we're going to talk about the nurture content versus like the marketing promo content, which is different than what you're thinking in your mind. So this is like just those are like general terms in TikTok. So what we have is like our marketing / promo content is those short, like 7-second videos with trending sound, and it's not really anything, you're not necessarily offering information. It's just something that's catchy that people will watch, and it attracts people to your page. Now, these are important to post if you are trying to grow. So these are like the video. Okay, so this is, and nurturing content is more the longer content where you are actually offering information to your audience, and they're usually a little bit longer, and it can be whatever kind of information. Like for me, like if I'm going to do like a book review or a book recommendation video or whatever, anything that's going to be like longer than 7 seconds, and I'm actually providing some sort of substance in the video that my audience can take from it, those are more nurturing type of videos. Now, the thing is like the promo type of videos or the marketing type of video where you're marketing yourself, not your book per se, okay, tend to get more views because they're short, they're quick, and they have a trending sound. But they don't necessarily retain your audience and get engagement. They can, like if you're going to do like an aesthetic video, or you're going to do some sort of whatever, you know, yeah, like an aesthetic video or a quote video, those can obviously garnish you interest and sales. They totally can. But it won't necessarily keep your audience engaged with you long term. And that's where like those nurturing videos come in. But those videos tend to not do as well. So they seem to be discouraging. But as somebody who's been on TikTok for a little while now, I can tell you that my viral videos don't necessarily have the most comments or most engagement. Some of my more nurturing videos that maybe didn't get nearly as much viral views as some of the other ones have way more comments, like insanely more. So that's where you're getting the nurturing versus promo, is you need to have a good mix of both to make sure that you're getting followers, but you're also retaining followers and getting engagement from them and growing an account that can make you have a relationship with people who will eventually hopefully buy your books. But and so the quality over content on this is like, honestly, so many people on TikTok just like film something where they're talking about something random and it'll go viral. So you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of time on TikTok videos for it to do well. You just have to either have something that people find of value or interesting, and or whatever it may be. It really is trial and error, because sometimes I'll do a video that went insanely viral and I'll do something like almost exactly like it, but maybe featuring different books, and it'll do terrible. So it's just, the algorithm can be very discouraging in TikTok. So just keep trying and trial and error. And another very big thing that you can do on TikTok is you can reuse content over and over and over again. Change the sound, or don't even change the sound. If it did good the first time, you can keep reposting. So that is one I've heard from many, especially like authors on TikTok that have done well, is you reuse content. So keep that in mind, that you don't necessarily have to keep coming up with new ideas. On Instagram, you can reuse content, but I don't think it's going to be as successful. So that's more of a TikTok trick, not Instagram trick, I would say. Okay. So how to figure out what your audience wants. So you're going to want to play to your strengths. Experimentation is encouraged. If something isn't working for you, try something else until you find what fits. Never feel pressure that you have to do things one specific way. Like I had mentioned earlier, that social media is kind of like writing a book, and you have to it's so much trial and error, and you have to keep consistently changing things and going a different direction or editing things. And that's kind of like how it is when you're trying to grow your social media, to find what works for you. And it's always constantly changing. Like I said, they're always rolling out new things. And so you can constantly be changing the way you do things, especially if you get bored. For me personally, I'll get bored doing the same photo over and over and over again, so I don't have a particular theme on my account. So it's always constantly changing, because that's just, I have to do that. But it also, I think my audience sticks with me because they will get bored too if you have, not necessarily, but they want different things in the social media aspects. I know with writing books, they sometimes they're exactly what they're planning on reading and stuff like that. But okay, so if you do things out of your comfort zone, social media is a really good way of bringing out the different aspects of people's lives. Don't be afraid to show your faults along with the good. being very open and honest on any platform, I feel helps you connect better with people, because we all are human and we all have faults. And when, as someone who, like, you see my page, it's all these beautiful books and it's all set up in a certain way, right? And it looks awesome. But every once in a while, I'll show these like videos of what my library actually looks like in real life, in real time, because it never looks like those actual pictures. Let's be realistic, because I live in my house and I take pictures in these rooms and it's a disaster. And people don't generally know that. So when they see that on the screen, it's a way to be like, okay, they're human too. I can actually connect with this person. So another thing you can do is you can go against the status quo, do things that other people aren't talking about. You can do things that people are talking about and that are working that you find interesting, of course. But this was a more with traditionally publishing, like talking about people's experience in publishing and just like all the secretive things that like no one really talks about. And I feel like more people have become so much more open about that and giving information in indie publishing and traditionally publishing. And it's been fantastic to hear and like share that knowledge with others. So, okay, make your book, your an account, an extension of your book or work in progress. So, like I said, there's a really good, I might have examples of this. I do. Okay, these are Instagram examples just because it's hard to do Twitter examples, right? Instagram examples. So we have Stephanie Garber here. Her page is bright and beautiful and magical, like sense of look, right? Then that is exactly what her books are. They are bright, they are magical, they are fairy tale-ish. And then you have Shelby Marin, who writes more like dark, not necessarily gothic, but just like a darker romance, like witch romance, like, and that, like, her page tells me that it's more romantic, it's more of a darker type of style, and like, so it's a very much so extension of what she's offering in her book in like a very roundabout way, obviously. And then Lindell, I can't see her last name because my thing, anyway, her books are like gothic fairy tale retelling type of story. So I feel like that tells me right there is like, I'm going to read her book, I'm going to get something dark, something gothic, something possibly like with the Goblin King, because I mean, I know it's with the Goblin King, but like that is like what her page is telling me. So if you can do that, now it's not necessarily easy, but like I was saying with like the static post, so these are type of authors who really promote their books more. I mean, Stephanie will promote other people's books, but they're promoting their books in a like through their feeds by having a certain filter and posting certain content. Now they all post a lot in their stories as well, which is where they can do like the more fun, engaging content on Instagram. But you can also do fun, engaging content, obviously, on your actual page too. But like I said, the post on Instagram, you're going to want to make more informational, more nurturing content on those posts. On TikTok, there's not necessarily a way to make your feed necessarily look consistent. I mean, you can do filters and stuff like that, but it's not quite as easy to make it as aesthetically pleasing, I guess, on TikTok. But that's okay, because it's a different platform and it's not necessarily required. Okay. Research. Okay. When it's coming to what content, it's so hard to come up with content ideas. Even for me, as someone, I mean, I've been doing Instagram for like 5 or 6 years now and TikTok for 2 years. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to post next? I don't want to recycle content. So what am I going to do? One way, like fantastic way, is to look at what other people are doing. So I'll look at other TikTok or like book talkers or bookstagrammers and see what they're doing and see what I like. So what is attracting me, excuse me, to those particular posts, and then put your own unique spin on it. Now, if you are going to like use kind of an exact same idea, put your own spin on it for sure. But it's always nice to contribute wherever you got the idea from in your caption. So just remember that, because it's just nice to be mentioned if you found the idea from somebody else in particular. But that is a good way. And so, yeah, just go to all of your favorite authors' accounts and see what they're doing and what's working. If you go to a post and be like, oh, that like really attracted me, and like figure out what it is that you liked about it, and then put your own unique spin on it. Okay, then we're going to talk about analytics. Okay, we're going to talk about this, and you're going to see some examples of my account on Instagram and on TikTok, and different ways you can use your analytics to get what you want out of the posts. Okay, so it really just depends on what you are trying to achieve in that particular post to know whether or not it was successful. Okay, on Instagram, there are so many different things when you go under. So you have to have business accounts for both Instagram and TikTok to use analytics, just FYI. Okay, 2 people raised their hands. Can you put your questions in the comments? Because I don't know how to raise your hand. Oh, Q&A. There's a Q&A box. I think I'll have to get out of the share screen to do. Hang on. I'm going to get out of the share screen so I can answer these comments. All right. Do I recommend updating to the latest version of IG? Yes. If you don't upgrade, it's going to just start having glitches. I know that it's frustrating, but if you are afraid of losing your friend's posts, you can actually go in and there is a way to make sure that you are specifically seeing their posts. And now I'm totally drawing a blank on what it's called, but there is a way to specifically like make sure that you are following them and turn notifications on. That's what it is. So you can go to each one of your friends' accounts and turn the notifications on, and you will get notified when they post. If you are afraid of not seeing those posts. So that's what I would do. And I would update it, because not updating it is making so you don't have all of the different aspects of it, which you're going to want and to utilize and use. And that way, I mean, I think just turning notifications on will fix your problem for you. Do you think an author platform should be built on writing advice and bookish material only, or you can diverge to show your personality? Totally show your personality outside of it. I think that in a lot of ways is how people connect with you, is when you show your personality outside of your author career. Obviously promote and build it on both, but somebody that like will share personal experiences on whichever platform will like, and personally, and I've found authors like on TikTok, and they're sharing personal experiences, and whatever, like, and I find and feel a connection with them through these personal experiences. I have actually gone and downloaded their books and bought their books, because I was like, I want to support this person, not necessarily this author. I want to support this person because I have a connection with them and I want to help them. And I've done that, and I'm sure that many other people have done that as well. So yes, share if you feel comfortable. I do talk about later on setting boundaries too, because you do have to set boundaries as well to whatever you're comfortable with. So I will talk about that a little bit later. Okay. Do you suggest, I'm just going to answer all these questions right now since I'm here. Using all 30 hashtags for Instagram, or I use 29. And the only reason I use 29 is because that 31 just always makes me nervous that I like had one in my caption that I didn't remember or whatever like that. So I use 29. use them all. You can use all 30 if you just double check that you don't have more than 30, count them. I'm lazy and don't like to count them, so I usually do like 27, 28, or 29 so that I don't have to count them. But use them all. I feel like I'm doing everything right on Instagram, but the posts don't get much engagement from followers and hashtags. What do you suggest I do? Okay, I think I'll be answering that more as we go on. Okay, I'm gonna close this. Sorry, we're gonna go back to my slideshow and talking about, come on. Let me move to the bottom. There we go. I'm like, I need to push play. Okay, sorry, back to analytics and how we decipher what is successful and what is not. So on Instagram, these are actual, like, these are old, but these are ways that you can, so when you go under the analytics on your phone, and there's a, on the right hand corner, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. So in the right hand, I don't know if you're not gonna be able to see it, but not, yeah, in the right hand corner, there are 3 lines at the top. And you're gonna click on that and you're gonna click on insights. You can follow along with me if you want. And then you come up with this overview and it just kind of tells you information about your account and things like that. And it's going to be under, there's posts, stories, and reels, like at the bottom of the page. You click on posts, or you can click on stories, you can click on reels, you can click on whichever one you want because they all have like a little bit of different information on it. So at the top, when like you click on posts, it has posts, last 7 days, and it has the little 3 lines. Okay, this is the wrong thing. That is not what I want. Did they change this? They changed it, it looks like, actually. Because you can do last 7 days, you can change the period, you could do last 30 days. It's only allowing me to see reach through this. Oh, okay, so you do click on the little 3 lines and it says sort by highest, post type, or metric. If you click on the metric, that's where you can go. You click on that metric button, and there is, you can select comments, you can select email button tabs, follows, impressions, likes, post interaction, profile visits, saves, shares, all these different things. You click on any one of those, and it can tell you how many follows that you got from such and such post, or how many comments you got from such and such post, or how much reach. So depending on what you're going for in the particular post, if you are trying to reach the most people possible, look. So this is more beneficial when you've been maybe doing it for a little bit for a while, but you can look and just be like, okay, this post is the one that got the most reach. Why did it get the most reach? Is it because of the image? Is it because of the information you shared? Whatever the thing may be. And if you can duplicate that, then you can do another post that should hopefully get a similar amount of reach. Like for me personally, like specific photos obviously get the most like interaction, right? Like if you look at my first example here, it's all the exact same photo that got the most interaction, right? But you look at comments, they're completely different pictures. These are the pictures that got the most comments. And for whatever reason, so if you're looking for engagement and comments, I would look at these posts like, what were they? Like the first one was a giveaway. The second one, I was doing like a recommendation train. So lots and lots of people talked about it. The third one is my birthday. So like you can kind of look and see which posts got the most comments and then which posts got the most follows. Like they're not necessarily the same. So that's what's like using analytics to figure out which posts like you want to post, which type of post and what you're looking for in that particular post. Use it to your advantage to like, so if you're wanting comments and engagement, that you know, use those kind of posts that got comments and engagements in the past. Now, is this always going to work? No, but it's just like a good rule of thumb to use your analytics to figure out how to use those. Okay, now we're going to look at TikTok. So this is like all the same video, actually. And I'm just kind of showing you how to find your analytics on TikTok. So you're going to click on those, like on my first picture here, which says spicy fantasy romance on the left-hand side, you have the 3 little dots at the bottom there, bottom right. You click on those, and then it'll pull up this thing in the second post here, and it's going to be the analytics. So you'll select analytics, and then the third one is what's going to automatically pop up and tell you some information about how the actual video has performed. Now, if you, at the very top of this third picture, it says performance and viewers. If you click on viewers, then that's what comes up on the last picture here. And this is actually going to give you more information about where your viewers are and whether they're male or female and their age. So these are a good way to use. It's very interesting, at least in my own personal TikToks, to see who the viewers are, because they can be vastly different, which honestly surprises me, because so like on Instagram, almost all of my followers and all my content is usually seen by female creators, which is totally fine. On TikTok, I have some videos that are actually seen by more male viewers, like when I talk about epic fantasy books and things like that, because I only talk about books on my page. But when I talk about epic fantasy or other things, I will actually have some of my viewers be more male, which that never happens on Instagram. So it's very interesting, and it just goes to prove that TikTok is, I mean, yes, it's nice to have a lot of followers, but you do not have to have a lot of followers to have videos do well. It is actually not necessary at all. And it doesn't, and if you do have a lot of followers, it does not mean that your videos are all going to do well either. It's very interesting, but that is a way. Now, it's not quite as easy to get as much information on which posts do well per se on TikTok. They don't have quite as much breakdown as Instagram. Instagram's much better at the analytics, I feel, but TikTok may change it over time, and use the information any way you can to help you. So those are just some of the analytics there. What time are we? Okay. Engaging with your audience. Okay. When you engage with your audience, you create a strong connection with them, which in turn leads them to be more willing to buy your books. One of the best ways to engage your audience is to ask a question in your post or video. Definitely on Instagram, always asking questions. I do feel, though, even on TikTok, in those nurturing type of videos, to ask questions, because that, or encourage questions, like create content that's going to encourage people to ask you questions so that you can engage with them. When you're starting out, you're not going to have followers, right? Because no one does. So you're going to want to engage with other people's accounts. You're going to want to leave meaningful comments on other accounts. Leave a comment like that shows that you actually like either read their caption or watched their video. Don't just be like, oh, cute, oh, fun, or you can, but that's not going to be engaging comments that's necessarily going to garnish somebody being like, oh, they left a really engaging comment on my post. I'm going to go check out their page to see if I can do the same. A lot of people will do that. And I've done it so many times where people have left an engaging, like, sweet comment, whatever, on my Instagram or TikTok, and I will go and check out their page to see if it's something that I'm interested in following back. And a lot of times I will, especially if they're somebody that, you know, post content like I do, then I will go and I will engage on their account as well. And it's really great to find people that are within the atmosphere of where you're at, like starting wise. So it's like you're brand new. You can use hashtags or look up hashtags of like new book talker or new author talker or new bookstagram, whatever it may be. There's usually a hashtag, and you can go and look up recent posts under that hashtag and find people who are in the same boat as you. And it's always good to find friends and to do your journey together. Try and reply to comments. I am fundamentally horrible at this. I get a lot of comments, so I try to reply to comments when I can. Certain posts, I will reply to all the comments. If I get too many, it gets overwhelming and I don't have time. So also time limits is super, super important. I don't remember if I have, I talk about that later, but I think I do. I'm going to talk about it right now so I don't forget. Putting time limits on how much you spend on social media is super, super important. On first, being productive in all other aspects of your life. If you're trying to write a book, you cannot spend too much time on social media. Otherwise, you'll never get it done. And so time limits are super, super important. It's like the same thing as boundaries. You got to make boundaries. So, and try to make friends. Like that's one of the coolest things about social media is making friends, making author friends, making just book recommendation friends. So my business partner, I met her on Twitter. Obviously, this was years ago when Twitter was more of a thing. I mean, you can still use Twitter. It's just super negative, so I'm not on Twitter anymore. But I met my absolute best friend and business partner who owns Storygram Tours with me through Twitter. And I have met so many amazing people that I would call some of my best friends through social media. I mean, you do have to be careful because you don't necessarily know these people in real life. So don't, overdo it and make it so that you get burned, which you might though too. But put yourself out there enough to make friends because that's one of the best things about these communities. And then Storygram. I have a whole thing about Storygram Talks I'm going to talk about later. Okay, we're going to talk about eye-catching images and videos. Do you have to be a photographer to take pretty pictures? Absolutely not. I have never taken a photography class in my life at all. No photography classes. So, no, you do not. And this is my page. These are some older pictures, but these are examples of some of the pictures I have taken. It's a lot of trial and error. Do not get me wrong. But all you need is a phone with a decent camera. Okay, I think I have. Okay, here we go. You need a decent camera. You do not need an actual nice camera. You just need your phone. It's going to take more than perfect, great. It'll take great quality content for social media. Now, obviously, if you want to blow up a picture, it's not going to be as good. But it's more than qualifies to use your phone for social media. I actually, like, this is just like a thing I did. I was using my phone for a long time. I'm like, I'm going to buy a camera because I bet it's going to do better job, better pictures. I bought a camera. I used it for a month. I was so annoyed by having to transfer it from my camera to my phone and it didn't look any different. I gave up. So don't buy an expensive camera because you don't need one. Your phone is more than sufficient as long as it has as long as it's not like 10 years old. All right, natural light is huge and key if you can use natural light. It's by far going to create the best videos and best pictures. It's going to be the same thing. I'll go into videos later, but natural light. So, but if you do not have access to natural light, especially like during the winter, you can buy a light box, which I actually have shining on me right now, because it's dark in here because it's kind of early. And they're like $30 or $40 on Amazon. They're not very expensive. And if you're finding that you have a continuous problem with getting natural light, you can use a light box for videos and pictures. Okay, layers, contrast, props. I go more into that in the next few slides, and filters. Okay, ways to improve your videos. We're going to do this first before I go into the other stuff. Speak clearly. And ideally on TikTok, turn on your captions because a lot of people will have the sound off, but they'll read your captions. I do it all the time where I have the sound turned down, but I'll read captions on people's videos. So I highly encourage turning on captions on TikTok. Natural light, I already talked about that one. Using popular sounds, like I said, the nurturing versus promo stuff. Trending sounds are going to help your TikToks get more views. It just does. So if you can find a way to use a trending sound that fits to you, use it. Yes, utilize that. But do you have to do trending sounds? No. Like I said, especially like on some of the nurturing content, where you're trying to like do like provide something to your audience, you don't need to even worry about sounds unless you're not talking. And if you don't feel comfortable talking on video, that's fine. I would encourage you to try it, because it does make a big difference on when someone can see your face and see your facial expressions and get to know you through the camera. It does make a difference. But if you don't feel comfortable with it, you do not have to do it. You can do other ways of nurturing content, like where you can actually talk and show the book. Don't show your face. If you don't feel comfortable showing your face, you can still do a talking thing where you're talking about the book and doing things with your hands. You don't have to show your face. But I think the ones where you show your face tend to do a little better, but do what you feel comfortable with. And like I said, try new things, lots of new things. Anything goes, kind of just try all the different things. Okay. Here we have, I guess I don't have layer, contrast, and prop. So props with Instagram, you do not need, I think I do have some examples. Okay, so here is examples of something that doesn't even have props. No props, it just has a filter. So this first picture is just a picture I took. And now what I'm talking about with layers and contrast, what I did with this sheet and scrunching it up created layers and contrast, especially when you add the filter, right? You can do a flat sheet if that's your style, that's fine too, but it's a different style of picture. But all this picture has is a white sheet and a book. And you slap on a filter, any filter. I don't even use this filter anymore. I use a different filter because I like to change my filter. Where to find filters? Lightroom is really, really great. So like Etsy, they sell filters on Etsy that you can use through Lightroom, and they're super fun, and I really like them. That's a really good way. Or you can do the Visco or whatever. Has like hundreds of filters. That one is like a yearly fee. The Etsy ones are like a one-time fee. So you can look up photo filters, and you can find thousands of filters. So look through and see which style of filter you like, and you only have to buy it. It's like a one-time purchase. I've started doing that just because I like those style of filters better. And that way, the thing with filters is it makes your picture and your page look more consistent if you use the filter. So these, and then now with props. So these are some props you can use that are super inexpensive. Candles. Most of us own candles already. Dried flowers. Like if you've bought flowers, dry them and use them. I use dried flowers all the time in my pictures. Glasses, paper, coffee cups, like everything in like sweaters, everything in these pictures. Like, yes, these are a more cozy type of style of pictures, but all of this is pretty much everything is something you could find in your home, more than likely. So it's a good way to like add little props here and there, but it's not expensive. Because the thing is, if you start buying like more expensive props, then it starts adding up. But this is just a really good way to change your pictures up a little bit, but not get expensive. So I added filters to these. Okay, so another thing you can do is you can add a thing called dust or some other type of effect. So this first picture is normal. The second picture so I took the picture, I put a filter, and then you can see the little crack through it. It is on, I gotta find, what is that app? Afterlight. Afterlight is free. And all you do is you go into it, you select the photo, and you can do all sorts of different things. You can add dust, you can add other types of effects. So there's all sorts of fun ways to like mess around and play with your pictures till you find something that works for you and that you like. Okay. Have patience and stay positive. Oh, we got to hurry. Okay. So social media is ever changing. It is impossible to keep up with trends. Don't get down on yourself if something doesn't work. When you enjoy what you were posting, others will too. Don't be afraid to try new things, and make sure to enjoy the journey. Is so much trial and error, but if you keep trying, eventually something will work. Okay. So I thought I had, but boundaries. I'm going to just do that and then answer questions. When it comes to social media, you have to set boundaries on what you are willing to share and what you're not willing to share on it. Because once it's on the internet, it never goes away. And that is seriously so true. So especially as authors, when it comes to like engaging with reviewers, you need to be very careful. Never say anything ever out of anger, like as a quick response. Never do that. It will always have negative ramifications. If you feel like you need to say something, either do it in a private conversation or calm down, talk to other people and outside of social media that you trust, and see if it's something that you really need to address. Just FYI, I just want to like caution people on that, because so many people don't listen to that advice and get themselves in trouble when you could have just avoided that, if that makes sense. So be careful on that, and make sure to set the boundaries and know what it is that you want to share. Okay. This is me. So if you want, I was going to talk a little bit about Storygram tours. So we are a bookstagram tour, or not bookstagram. We are a book tour company, and we work with publishers and authors promoting books through Instagram and TikTok. And we have run thousands of tours. We've been doing it for over, I think it's about 6 years now. And this is just a really good way if you have a book coming out or a book that's already, it doesn't matter if it's new or not. It can be an older title. If you just want to have some extra eyes on that book, this is a really great way to get eyes on your book and on you as an author. So that's our website, that's our email. So I'd love for you to check us out if you're interested. But yeah, okay, I'm going to answer questions because I only have 6 minutes. So Q&A, I'm going to try and hurry. Are there certain days that are better to post than others? I have not found a difference on any days, but that is in the analytics of Instagram anyway. It'll tell you the times and the dates that your followers are most active. So you can look at that. I don't know if there's anything like that on TikTok, and I have not found personally that there's any day that works better than another. Not for me anyway. Should we narrow down to 2 or 3 themes for our page? That way we keep long-term engagement. Do book reviews, posting mugs, coffee favorites, and or posting fur baby content. Honestly, I'm always changing my themes. So if you want to add a new theme, add one. But if you're finding that only certain themes work and are getting engagement, then you can focus on those. But don't ever put yourself in a box that you can't get out of. That's like one thing, because then it like puts a cap on your creativity. Never do that, because then you feel like you're like, oh, I can't do this trend. I can't do this and this and this. And there's no reason why you can't. Just do it. If it's something you're interested in, do it. That's what I personally think. So I wouldn't limit yourself in any way, shape, or form. If you want to try something, try it. On Instagram, do you think it's better to be a creator or a business? Honestly, I don't know if there's like really a difference. I might be a creator. I honestly don't know that there's much of a difference. I think that either one works. I think the thing with the business is you might have more access to like you can add buy this here, shop things and stuff like that. So I would just look at like the pros and cons of what the business side has to offer and the creator side has to offer. I'm pretty sure I don't even know what I have, to be honest, because I think I might be creator. I think I'm creator. But I really haven't noticed a big difference. So I think you could do either one. And if you're noticing that one doesn't have something that you want, you can always switch to the other one and it's fine. I mean, don't keep switching back and forth, because I think that will confuse Instagram. So that's not necessarily smart. But if you switch to one and try it out for a while and realize you liked the other one better, you can always go back. It's fine. All right, is there any other questions? Because we got like 3 minutes. You can put it in the chat if you want. All right, I think we're, someone else. What if you're using a pen name as an author? Okay, if you're using a pen name, this is another thing. Try to be easy to find on social media. That's another thing. Use the same username for all the different social media sites you're on. So if you're on TikTok and you're on Instagram, use the same name, and I would use the pen name so that you are easy to find. Because the easier you are to find, the better, because people are not patient in this day and age. They will give up if they can't find you easily. Oh, more comments came in. Would you recommend trying to revive an account you've been on and off on that have more than 1K followers, or start a new one if you've been away for a while and would like a fresh start? I would probably revive that one if you can, because you already have followers, where starting new can be so hard. But I mean, it really, either one can work. It depends on what platform you're talking about too. If you're talking about Instagram, I would revive. If you're talking about TikTok, you can start a new one, because I feel like it fluctuates so much. My TikTok is dark fairy tales, which is the same as my Instagram. My Instagram just has an underscore. YouTube can, like, so many people have been extremely successful on YouTube. Okay, we can go over, but okay, good. We can go over a little bit, because I'm trying to answer these questions. Sorry. Do you find YouTube videos helpful? So there are actually lots of authors who have done YouTube videos that I have personally found super helpful. So if you have content that needs to be longer than 3 minutes, yes, do a YouTube video. And you can attach all your social media sites to your website to where you can have that content available. Now, does it take more time? Yes, it takes more time. So you're going to have to see if it pays off in the end. It's a give or take. So, I mean, there are a lot of them that are successful, but at the same time, doesn't need to be longer than 3 minutes. Like, when you're going through and figuring out what information is important in the video or you're trying to share, doesn't need to be longer than 3 minutes, because if not, just do a TikTok. Okay, thank you. Oh, you're so welcome. Work with bookstagrammers. Okay. You can blind reach out through DMs if you want to. I don't know how much success you're going to have doing that. Storygram tours is a really, really good way to get you introduced into the community. And we do all the work where we find the influencers for you. So, I mean, I am going to suggest doing Storygram tours, but another good way to interact with bookstagrammers is the same way that I was saying, engaging with other people's content. Go on their page. If you love a bookstagrammer, go on their page and leave engaging comments on their posts. See if you can strike up a relationship with them that way. That's like the way to start. I mean, that's the best way, is just engaging with their actual content so that they know that you're around. And the more they see your comments, the more they're going to notice, be like, okay. And it's possible that, if you do it enough, they will notice, and they may check out your page. Like I was saying, I do. And I know a lot of other bookstagrammers do too. What if you plan on having 2 different author names for different genres? Okay, that's fine. You can do 2 different author names. I don't think that I would do 2 different accounts. I would choose one of them as your actual name on your like Instagram name or whatever, and make sure to have in your profile that your pen name is such and such. Same with TikTok. Have your, so that when someone searches your pen name, that Instagram page or TikTok will pop up. Also, in TikToks, use your name as a hashtag, your pen name or your author name as a hashtag, because when you search, it'll pop up as a hashtag. So use your, that's another thing I forgot to say on Instagram, or not on Instagram, on TikTok. Use your author name as a hashtag in your posts, because when people search, those hashtags will pop up. I've been feeling so deflated recently with my energy, and this class has helped my confidence. Oh, I'm so glad, you guys. Thank you so much for attending, and yeah,